Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Alive and All. This is Becca, co-founder, co-creator of Alive and All. Okay, so our last video, we discussed starting the armor series for 2018. And I gave you guys a verse that talked about the devil's strategies and how the devil will use strategies to get us off of our purpose, right? So the verse that I shared with you guys last time is Ephesians 6:11. It says, "Put on all of God's armor, and you will be able to stand firm against all strategies of the devil." So I'd ask, what are some of the strategies that maybe you guys fight against or come up against? Some of the things that I had shared was worry, anger, loneliness, attack, betrayal, addiction, sadness, job issues, false expectations, which is my biggest one, isolation, and fear. So I just want to go over that real quick with you guys, and the fact that the helmet is tied directly into the strategies of the devil. And the reason I say this is because our mind is really our biggest battlefield in some aspects, if you want to look at it like that. In the fact that that's where we live every day. Ourselves are the only one that's in our mind and know what we're constantly telling ourselves over and over and over. And unfortunately, I don't think too many of us are on the inside just giving ourselves a bunch of internal high fives like, you kick butt today, you're amazing. If we did, I think that we would be in a much different situation than what we currently are. But we're going to change that, right? We're all going to start giving ourselves internal high fives like, you kicked butt today, way to go. I love it. Okay, so totally off subject. So today, what I want to talk about is I'm going to share with you the verse for today, which is Romans 8:6. So letting your sinful nature control your mind leads to death, but letting spirit control your mind leads to life and peace. Okay, so letting sinful nature. For me, what is really interesting about this is it ties directly back into Ephesians 6:11 and the fact that what are the strategies that the devil usually uses for me? Well, 9 times out of 10, my sinful nature, what I crave, what I desire, my flesh, the things that I can't stop thinking about or obsess over, are usually the same type of strategies that the devil uses. Now, for us to stop it, we have to get ahead of it and think things through, right? Okay, so Ephesians 6:17 it talks about the full armor of God. What I'm going to share with you is the part about the helmet, and it says, "Put on salvation as your helmet." Okay, so growing up in church, you hear salvation, you hear it this way, you hear it that way, and we all believe it may be this or that. However, for me, I had to look it up and be like, okay, what would this mean? Why would God, why would universe, ultimate love, want us to make sure that salvation was part of our helmet? Like, what is that? So I looked salvation up. And salvation means to preserve or have deliverance from harm, ruin, or loss. So it's protected, right? Well, what would a helmet do? It would protect our minds from the war field, the battlefield that's going on between the devil's strategies and our sinful nature. I know it's a lot to kind of take in at once to look at it like that. However, I'm going to give you an example. So the devil knows, for me, one of the biggest false expectations I've given myself was not being married by 40. If you're not married by 40, it's not going to happen. That's it. You're done. It's over. And if that is really what is meant to happen, that's fine. If that's what God's will is, I've come to acknowledge that. However, this has been a huge struggle for me because I get asked, like, why are you single? Why aren't you married? But what's wrong with you? And when you constantly hear that, the strategy, the devil gets in there and puts that strategy in there as, oh, well, it's you're not your false expectations. It's because you're not worthy enough. You're not good enough. So now the devil knows the strategy that it took. My sinful nature knows, well, if you maybe did certain things, you could be farther in relationships or be in a relationship with a man or this or that or the next thing. So now my sinful nature and the strategy that the devil's given it, they start to feed off each other. And they continue to feed off each other. That is where we have to use our helmet. We have to look at it as, what does salvation mean for our mind? Okay, that means that we are keeping it free from harm. We're keeping it free from being ruined. We're keeping it from loss. How do we do those things? We're feeding it and we're telling ourselves good things. We're giving ourselves internal high fives like, yeah, you know this is a really hard struggle for you, Becca, and yet you've chosen to see the issue and to know for now at this portion of your life that being in a relationship or having a husband is not what God has intended for you. And it's okay. And I'm not going to let the devil's strategies or my own sinful nature run something through my mind over and over and over that is false about myself. I'm not going to tell myself that, oh, it's because you're not worthy and all these other yucky things. I'm going to accept the fact that this is where I'm at. And it's okay. And really, I'm happy. I'm content. I feel good about where I'm at. Is it exactly what I thought it would be? No. But it never is. And that's where I think we get frustrated. That's where we get, we can't compare ourselves to where others are in their walk or what they are doing in their lives and what they've accomplished. Not even as mothers can we do that to each other. As friends or sisters, we have to stop. We have to stop beating ourselves up and loving ourselves for what we do bring to the table. Okay, so for me, I am now able to accept, you know what? If you were to have had someone in your life, your son would not get the attention that he needs with what's going on in his life. Okay, so now I've removed the whole strategy, the devil's strategy. It's done, out of here. And my mind can focus on telling myself the good, the positive, that, okay, now look, you do have this time to focus on your son and get him to be the man he eventually is to be. And you can do that all still being happy, still being you, and you don't have to be married or feel you have to have someone to do it with you and be successful. We have to stop telling ourselves negative. And the helmet, salvation, use the helmet as salvation. Okay, what are you telling yourself? Tell yourself positive things. Tell yourself love-based things, right? Learning our value every day. That's the only things that we should be feeding into our helmet, our love-based values. Okay? All right, so that is day 1. So look up Romans 8:6, review it, and dive into what you think your sinful nature is, and if it does align back up into the devil's strategy. And so then now you know where you can start cutting them off at, and you're becoming stronger. You're starting to know your weak points, which is amazing. So give yourself a high five, right? I love you guys, and we'll talk to you soon.